Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, hello everyone, welcome back to my video. Now I will explain to you for our material in the 10th meeting. As usual, I will share to you first the material for today. Let me share to you the material. Okay. Um, Today we are going to talk about task-based language learning. Yeah, continue the Tesol methodology. But first thing first, as usual, I will read for you the vision of Latan Samashiro University. That is menjadi universitas yang unggul, berdaya saing global, berjiwa entrepreneurship, berlandaskan akhlakul kalimah. And then for the vision of Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, menjadi Fakultas Keguruan dan Ilmu Pendidikan yang unggul pada penyiapan bahan ajar berbasis digital dan edupreneur yang dapat berdaya saing global dijiwai akhlakul kalimah. And then for the last is our English Education Study Program. Our vision is menjadi program studi pendidikan bahasa Inggris yang unggul pada penyiapan bahan ajar berbasis digital dengan pendekatan kearifan lokal serta edupreneur yang memiliki daya saing global dijiwai akhlakul kalimah. Okay, now I have one surah for you from Quran Surah Al-Baqarah verse 269. That is knowledge as a gift from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Okay, He grants wisdom to whom He wills, and whoever has been granted wisdom has certainly been given much good, and none will remember except those of understanding. That's the Quran Surah said, yeah. That's knowledge is one of the blessing bestowed by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Through knowledge, humans are able to comprehend the wisdom embedded in life. Knowledge not only provides understanding but also cultivates wisdom in action. Therefore, seeking knowledge is one of the ways to attain a great blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Okay, let's move on to the task-based language learning, everyone. In this occasion, there are several things that we will learn here. The first is, of course, about the definition of task-based language learning and also the model of TBLT, strength and weaknesses, sample activity in the classroom, and the last one is conclusion and suggestion. So let's start from the definition. Maybe in this video I will have or switch several times because I have some material from different files, yeah. So we will not only focus on this slide. Okay, let's start from the definition. Actually, the very first time, if you look at here, that is a task-based learning. But I propose you in the title is task-based language learning, yeah, TBLT. That is the language here because I want to focus on task-based, but it's a focus on the language because we are in the English language studies, yeah. So let's start from the core. First, from task-based learning. It's an instructional approach that emphasizes the use of meaningful tasks as the central component of the language learning process. According to Willis, TBL is predicated on the idea that tasks are essential for effective language instruction and planning. This approach shifts the focus from traditional grammar-based instruction to the use of real-life tasks that promotes authentic language use. TPL is grounded in the belief that language is best learned through practical application rather than rote memorization of rule. So, both of task-based learning or task-based language learning, the core main in here, main method in here is about the task, yeah. Okay, so the students will learn using this methodology by doing several tasks. And also, according to Nunan, a task in the context of language learning is defined as an activity that engages learners in comprehending, manipulating, producing, or interacting in target language with a primary focus on meaning rather than form. The definition underscores the importance of meaningful communication in the language acquisition processes. Okay. And then how about the model? Actually, if we look at here, it's come from Alice 2003. Uh, there are three kinds of tasks here. The first is the pre-task, task-based, and post-task. But actually, I will stop here. I want to show you more about this model from task-based, but in different slide. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me sit here. This is another slide that I want to show you. In this slide is more than using TBLT but enhance technology, technology enhance TBLT like that. Okay, let me show you for the task model, yeah. For the task model, it's still the same, like here, like a Willy said, yeah. There is a pre-task. Let me make it bigger. So, in the first cycle, there is a pre-task, including topic and task. In this task, teacher explores the topic with the class, highlight useful words and phrases, help students understand task instruction and prepare. Students may hear a recording of others doing a similar task. Yeah, so in this pre-task, teacher especially prepare everything and also giving some instruction to the students to make the students ready to do the task, yeah, for the main task. So in the main task here, okay, there is a task cycle from the task itself, planning and also report. If we go on the task, it based on what we design already for the task. Yeah. For example, students do the task. It can be individual, in pairs, or in a group. And then the teacher can do the monitors, yeah, during students doing the task. And then for the planning, students are given planning time. They prepare to report to the whole class orally or in writing what they decided or discover and or how they did the task. And then the last time for the report, after the students did the task, students, it can be individually, pairs, or in groups, present their reports to the class or exchange written reports, and then teachers help students to compare the result. Yeah, it can be also make some feedback from the students' task. Okay, so in TBLT, task-based language teaching or task-based language learning, the features of the task in the context of technology enhance TBLT. Primary focus in the meaning, yeah. Uh, and also it should be learner center. Okay, so the step here, we already learned about this pre-task planning, doing the task planning, and then report, analysis, and practice. So if you want to uh, design your pre-task, or if you wish to do the online learning, you can set several activities, yeah, in your pre-task. For example, if you wish to use an email, you can email the task, yeah, and instructions to your students. For example, include video to serve models, provide tutorials, or any other related inputs. And if this is about the spoken task, then you as a teacher emphasize that learners shouldn't be nervous and that errors are part of the process. Yeah. Teachers can also post tasks and instruction via Google Classroom or other virtual platform. Okay. And once again, for the task cycle here, during the task, of course, students do the task on their own, yeah. And then for the planning, learners plan to report on their task outcome during the online meeting as well as to listen or report on their peers' report. Okay. And then for the report, teachers begin to meetings, introduce the topic, warming up, and so on. Teachers also can make a model task. It is encouraged for the relationship building, yeah, between the teachers and the students. And then teachers also can assign the students to take turn reporting on their task outcomes, yeah, by presenting their tasks or during this time. Both student and teachers can also make a corrective feedback. Yeah, it once again it based on what tasks did you give to your students. You can also set kinds of Q&A section, yeah, for meaning making activities relate to your task setting. And for the analysis, teacher review new words, form, errors that appear in a meeting, yeah. And the last one for the reflective learning, teacher may ask learners to complete the learning reflection or ask them to conduct post-transcribing tasks. It can be used for spoken tasks or in order to reflect on their accuracy, content, and other components. Okay, let's go back first to the slide. Here you go again. The model, yeah. pre-task, task-based, and post-task. I already explained about this. So, uh, let's move on the strength and weaknesses. As for the strength and weaknesses of this method, let's talk about the strength first from task base. The first is enhance learner engagements. Of course, during the task, what kind of task is it? Both teacher and learners will engage each other. Yeah, teachers can do the monitor during the task and also can guide the students to do the task. Yeah. And the second one, promotion of communicative competence. This task base help teachers and students to build their communicative competence because during this task, of course, both teachers or students will communicate with each other. Yeah. And then opportunities for input and output. Once again, it based on task you design. And for the flexibility and adaptability, it's also based on the task, yeah. But actually, from the pre-task to the task phase and the post-task, everything can be flexible, yeah. And for the weaknesses of the task base, of course, the first we concern with the time, yeah, time constraint. We know since in task base we have a pre-task and the last one we have a post-task and in the middle we have the main task. It means that we have to plan and set the time earlier, yeah, before we want to do this task. So it will take us some times and of course time consuming, yeah, will be. But if we planned everything well, we can reduce the time consuming. And then the second one, assessment challenges. Yeah, sometimes there are some of or kinds of tasks that can be challenge for the students. Yeah, so whatever is it, the task you set for your students, you have to make everything clear, especially for the instruction at the very first time in the pre-task. So everything that you need to explain, that you need to discuss with your students, it should be clear in the pre-task. So after that, students can go by their self. Yeah, it can be individual or in a pair or in groups during the task phase. Okay. So I think the challenge is always should be in the first, yeah, in the pre-task. So everything should be clear. And then for the third one, resource limitation. Yeah, sometimes there is a limitation of the resource. So make sure that you can uh, provide some resources for the students so they will not feel burden during uh, the task phase. Yeah, you can provide some resources anywhere, or you can ask students also to open up their source. Yeah. And the fourth, teacher training and understanding. Of course, different tasks will be different activity, and for doing the best task, teacher needs to have an experience first. Yeah, training and understanding is important, yeah, to do. And for the sample activity in the classroom, I will also maybe switch from this slide to the others, yeah. Not only limit in here, but look at first in this slide. There are role play, information gap, problem solving tasks, so many, yeah. Survey project, opinion sharing. That is, we can set a kinds of task, yeah, activity. Um, I will give you another example that more specific, especially in English language teaching, yeah. If you want to do the task. So let me switch again. Okay, let's go back here. I will give you the example, not this one. Okay, here you go. This is the example of task-based learning and for writing, yeah, summary writing in writing course. Okay, if you wish to use task-based for your writing class or for your English lesson, but you specific teach for writing, yeah. The first one is of course the course introduction. The second one, the use of generic or research report. If you want to write something, it's something like a certain topic. The first one, of course, you have to do the pre-instructional summary writing task, yeah, or we can go on to the pre-task. It will be a baseline, yeah, for the students to understand everything before they have to do the main task. Yeah, so everything should be clear in the pre-instructional summary. Okay. And then you can go on to the how to write a summary. For example, analysis of the selected summaries from students in week 2. During the task space, you can do it in the single time or you can do it in a different meeting. Yeah, it's based on the task difficulty you are going to set up for your students. And then the next activity, if you wish to, for the students to get the model of the summaries, you can ask the students to paraphrasing practice, yeah, using a newspaper, maybe information about something, and then students can practice how to paraphrase some sentences. And then also you can switch from the newspaper to the science textbooks. It best what you want, yeah. After practicing the summarizing and paraphrasing, and then you can do the photosynthesis, yeah. In this activity, The students can analyze the selected summarize, yeah, that's they already did in the previous meeting. And then for the technology in the language education, students can use several kinds of tools, yeah, to help them doing their writing. Okay, that's for the writing. Here you go. If you are in the post task, you can also giving the feedback after your students um, task result, or you can also make a Q&A, yeah. What is the main topic of the original article? How does each of the three summaries address the main topic, and so on, yeah. You can discuss with your students. So this is the writing process, yeah. From the pre-writing, drafting, getting feedback, revising, editing. Okay, I will just jump up to the next. Yeah, this is another example of task-based in a speaking course, yeah. If you wish to teach your students about English speaking skill, you can do a fun task activity. This is just the example, yeah. The first, of course, in the pre-task, you can prepare, for example, here, one movie trailer, for example, yeah. And also you can choose a topic that's attract your students or your students' favorite movies, yeah. Asking students to share their favorite movies and why they like it. It can be uh, activities in the pre-task, yeah, to get the engagement so they will understand what will they learn happily in the main task. So, and then in the task cycle, you can ask your students to watch and enjoy the movie trailer and ask them also to watch it again, or it can be repeated and make notes, yeah. What they should uh, pay attention or and write from the information from the movie. You can make a table resume for the movie like this one, yeah. Write down the movie elements and also the task. The movie elements, it can be orientation, complication, climax, and resolution. Because most of the movies is in narrative genre, so I choose this one into the narrative, yeah. Orientation, complication, climax, and resolution. And for the task, each movie elements, students, you have to do something, yeah. Like in the orientation, students should describe how the story begins, yeah. They can retell again after they are watching the movie, describe the story, yeah, the storyline. And then for the complication, student can describe what problems the main actor and actress face. And for the climax, students can retell the crisis your students think as experience, yeah. And for the resolution, students can describe how he or she cope with the problems. So from this notes will help them when they have to do the post task ya. Okay, look at here. For the planning, asking students to prepare the rehearsal based on their notes, and then we can divide the students into groups. Yeah, it can be 3 to 4 members for each group through the breakout room if it is an online classroom, and ask the students to share their notes orally to their friends. Ask them to also record their talks, providing students to learn particular grammar focus. And then for the language focus, you can ask your students to transcribe their talk, asking them to make self-reflection on grammatical components. Yeah, so it means that for the tabel record of information movies information, it's just for guiding the students during the presentation. Yeah. The best way here in this task activity is that student will exchange their information about movies they are already watch. Yeah, so they can share the movies. That's it, everyone. So many example we can set for the task. Yeah, but I will always remind you once again, whenever is it the task, you have to always explain and give the clear instruction at the pre-task. So the next phase in the task cycle, everything will be clear so students can do their tasks properly, like that. Yeah. Okay, and then mm, I will go back again in the slide. Okay. So we are in the conclusion and suggestion, everyone. As for the conclusion, as we already learned about task-based learning as a language learning method that use a real-life language activities to enhance students' language competence. However, you have to remember that it faces challenges like a time constraint, lack of alignment with traditional assessment method. Sometimes it can be limited resources and inadequate teacher training. But it's okay since you can set whenever what is it a task you want, yeah. And for the citation, task-based learning needs further research to improve it. Compare it with other methods, overcome practical challenges such as time constraint and so on, emphasize teachers training and so on. This will make the discussion more relevant and practical for educators, yeah. As for the assignment, everyone, you have to watch my recorded teaching video. After that, if you understand everything about task-based learning, you have to do the assignment by summarizing all the material that I already explained. Yeah, you need also to underline the three important key points of the material and explain it by yourself by recording into a video. The duration of the video should be around 3 minutes or more, and share your link video in a Google Classroom assignment as the proof you did the assignment. That's all, everyone, that I can share to you in this today's meeting. I say thank you so much for your attention, and we will meet again in the next video. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.